We live in an age where those in power are openly using every weapon at their disposal to impose their will upon the future. Where the principles of authoritarianism and individualism stand in open conflict in the streets, in the courts, in the news, in everyday life. Where the choices we make and the choices that are made for us have consequences no one can foresee. You do not stand alone. You do not fight alone. You do not suffer alone. We are united. We resist. We are here with you. As long as there is a truth that remains hidden, as long as lies are spread openly, we will continue to speak out. We will continue to question. We will continue to be the united resistance.
Want to do now, Cap?
Same thing we always do. Fight them until we can't.
Oh, hey, folks, what's going on? It is Tuesday, the 29th of March. And, of course, the year is 2022. Man, we got a great guest for you guys tonight. We've got the awesome, well, we don't really have a drum roll, but we're going to bring her in anyway. And that is Jasmin St. is in the house.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be your guest.
Yeah, it's awesome having you here, Jasmin. And let's go ahead and introduce the guys on the panel, as we always do. Of course, we've got Tommy and the Guinea Kid Collective is in the house. What is going on, Tommy?
What up, y'all? How y'all doing out there in the chat land? Be sure to share this one out and smash the hell out of that like button. Get some eyes in here, people. Do it, and do it now. Screw your freedoms.
We've got Brahma Pool. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. Just looking forward to this. It's going to be a fun night. We've got a great guest. We got a great panel, and we got the best chat in YouTube. So, cheers to you guys. Let's do this.
That is right. And of course, Free Speech Gaming. Our buddy Steven, what's going on?
Nothing much. Doing pretty well. Been looking forward to another wonderful episode of United Resistance. We're on episode 18 now, chugging along. Hope everybody out there is having a wonderful day as well. Looking forward to having a good panel again tonight.
Yeah, and of course, the man that really needs no introduction, that be Etep Wakuyan of the Place to Be Reviews.
It is I, it is he, it is me, P-double-D-E, Wakuyan from the Place to Be Reviews, right here with all of yous, even the Orthodox Jews, L'chaim. Welcome to our lovely guest, Jasmin St. the best chat on YouTube, this amazing panel, especially Brahma, who we have the exact same barber. We are, we could be the tag team to Baldies to take it back to the ring days. But yeah, thank you, Drew, for having me. Looking forward to a great show. And yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, we got mad peeps in the chat too. You know, and listen, I know it's top of the show. I just want to say, wow, it's been a hell of a week for me, and I want to thank everybody, you know, because it's not just those of you in the audience, not just those of you on the panel, but in our larger community in this corner of YouTube. We have all pulled together like family. You guys have been a rock for me. You guys have really just come on and rode for me. And I can't tell you how much that you all mean to me. You really are indeed extended family to me, and I do even want to give a shout out here to Jasmine, because she is a completely awesome human. And when she had heard the news of what happened to Mom, she's reached out and been really super supportive too. Just all the love and the vibes from everyone have been great, and I've needed every one of them, because this has been the hardest thing I think I've ever gone through. So between I feel like God being there to help give me strength, and of course you guys on this end, it's been amazing. So just thank you. um, and also we did start a campaign for mom's for mom's memorial fund, really, because let's be honest, you guys know what's going on. That we didn't have any life insurance for her. She doesn't have a will, anything. So you know so I'm basically starting from scratch here, and at least we'll be able to pay for the funeral, and take care of all the legal stuff with the probate and all that. And then don't forget, we've got whatever is left over is going to be there to basically you know till I can get on my feet and get steady income coming in. So that's going to give me the opportunity to look for a roommate and everything else, and that way I will be able to keep the family home and everything. So it's just amazing, and so far I'm happy to say the campaign's off to a great start. Tommy, can you go ahead and just pull it up, and I'll share the screen, and just so we can show folks what's going on with it so far.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, and guys, if you haven't seen the link for the campaign, it is pinned at the very top of the chat. It is a give, send, go, because I won't use GoFundMe after the shit that they pulled on the truckers. No, I don't think anybody should use GoFundMe anymore.
Good call there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're doing good, because it's been live less than 24 hours, and I believe we're up over the $1,300 mark, and which we have a goal of 20K, and we're just off to a great start. So I want to say again, thank you to everybody, all those of you that have donated over $100. Tommy will get a t-shirt out to you. You will get a t-shirt that has our logo, and it says hashtag beware the Drew on it. So so you will get that if you donated over $100. That's guaranteed. And Tommy will get those out to you. And also we have Janet that does artwork, and we will probably do a drawing or something along those lines for some random donors, and we will pick a winner, and they will win a piece of artwork from Janet, and her artwork is absolutely outstanding. So we will do that. Do you have it up, Tommy?
Yep, it's sitting there waiting for you.
Okay, so here we go. The Andrea Taylor Memorial Fund, guys, and again, the link is pinned at the top. We see Freeze just dropped them about 15 minutes ago. We got $5 just a minute ago, and we're sitting at $14.25, and that is awesome. That is awesome in less than 24 hours. So again, hats off to everyone. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I really appreciate it, guys. So let me.
It's amazing what this community can do for people.
Yeah, it really is. Let me.
Hail the fellowship.
Yeah, let me just grab that link out of the chat.
I still don't know about the whole fellowship, Rama. I mean, I really don't feel like walking with a ring in my hand for 20, 30 miles. I don't know. I'm not.
You don't want to hang out. You don't want to hang out with Walton and the other hobbits with hairy feet?
Right? Look, if you can't carry it, I can carry you.
Oh,
Angry
gosh.
dwarf and lesbian elf.
Oh, God. Oh, gosh, that's funny.
I gotta send Drew that GIF I've got for my Batwoman video, so we can, whenever we mention the what is it, the lesbian drunk 3PO, I can play the Eric Bischoff GIF. The lesbians.
Oh, God. The lesbian.
My kid is across the hall getting ready for bed, and he just did the Eric Bish, the yell that because he's heard it so many times in videos. He just went yoo-hoo like Jerry the King Lawler.
Nice.
I'm a great parent.
Oh,
I'm not-
that is great. All right. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get into some of what's going on, because we're all here to talk about what's going on in the world. And I know, my goodness, there is just absolutely all kind of shit, because there's a newsworthy week going on. I know that. And no, by the way, we are not going to talk about the Oscars, because everybody and their brother has been talking about that to the point like I want to puke at this point.
I don't know what the problem is, Drew. I really didn't think Oscar was that bad of a movie.
What are you talking about? My movie.
Yeah,
That was Sylvester Stallone's the entirety of his dialogue for the entire movie. Just,
What are you talking about? That's the entirety of his life.
that's
Yeah.
I want to see Sylvester Stallone in the lead in On Golden Pond before he. I want to see that. I want to see that version. He did stop her. My mom will shoot. Why now? Don't you boo me. I've seen what makes you people cheer.
I want to see him in a courtroom drama where he has to be the attorney,
Yes.
where it's just all dialogue.
And the jury's like,
Oh, there's my case.
the stenographer's sitting there going like,
oh man. All right. All right, let me God damn you, Pete. Let me go ahead and share this. See what these guys do to me.
Yeah. No, but that whole Oscar thing, I mean, I did bring it up earlier today. Unless you watch stupid shows like The View and all that other liberal crap, like not everyone watches a bunch of angry women sitting around chit-chatting about their problems, right? So not everyone knew, including Chris Rock. I'm pretty sure he didn't know necessarily that she had whatever said thing she has going on.
Alopecia.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly.
When I was a
Well, why would most people want to watch those shows anyway? Because most people are just they want that, they could just talk to their wives.
Exactly. Exactly.
first,
Will Smith's case, he has to talk to his wife's boyfriend.
well, look, and I'm sure he bought him some very nice Nikes, and cooked him a nice meal after he was done, playing with little Kim and her wigs. But seriously though, Jada, I'm waiting for that Sally. No, it wouldn't be Sally Struthers anymore. I have to bring it to the new generation. It'd be Sarah McLachlan playing like a sad song. Did you know Jada Pinkett Smith has been affected by alopecia? Only you can save this woman and provide her with
30
enough-
cents a day.
For 30 cents a day, you can get her a weave, a perm, and a press and curl. Her head will look like a basket full of curly fries. It's fine. We're all fine here. It's just a weapons malfunction.
God. Oh man. All right. So Tommy shared this with me backstage before we started, and this is a tweet from the Recount, pretty decent account to check every so often, because they drop some good info, and so does one of my other favorites, disclose.tv. There's a lot of good ones that I grab info from, because you guys know that I'm always like scouring for different things that the mainstream media isn't going to tell you. Well, it's interesting to me in this clip, and we'll watch Zelensky here. He's pushing for Europe to transition to green energy. Wonder why. So here we go.
Ще задовго до цієї війни було очевидним, що людство має скорочувати використання викопного палива. Ера вугілля, нафти нанесли навколишньому середовищу, нашій планеті цілому дуже серйозні шкоди. Зелені технології, зелена енергетика стали логічною, справедливою відповіддю на цей виклик. Європейська політика вже направлена на скорочення споживання екологічно небезпечних ресурсів, але російська агресія проти України та проти усього, на чому побудоване життя у Європі, є аргументом, щоб прискорювати зелену трансформацію на континенті. Європа має відмовитись від російської нафти, відмовитись якнайшвидше, бо саме шалені доходи від енергоресурсів дозволяють керівництву Росії бути зухвалим, порушувати загальновизнані правила, просувати ненависть проти інших народів, проти нас і руйнувати життя сусідніх країн.
Yeah, so what's funny about that is who else pushes for green energy? Oh, gee, I don't know. The fucking Democrats.
I just want to say to him, every word of what you just said was wrong.
Like, how is this a concern for you right now?
Your country is getting taken over, and you're worried about green energy. Shut up.
I swear it sounded almost as if AOC had prepared that statement for him.
Yeah.
No, that's just because Russia is one of the biggest. They're a huge oil exporter. That's all it is.
Yep.
They're hoping to hit Russia in the pocket with this. They don't actually care about any of the green energy climate crisis bullshit that's been debunked for 40 frickin' years.
It's a friggin' clown show. I mean, it's 100% a clown show. And look, you know why they want to do that. They essentially want to give you worthless fucking energy. Is what it is, because hey, when's the last time you actually saw the windmills fucking work? The last time I saw, they were frozen over and pieces were busting off of them. I mean, it's just stupid shit like that, but they want to push this nonsense because they know that nobody is going to get anything remotely decent off it, because gas and coal and everything else is proven, and it always has been proven. It'll be proven till the dawn of time. So people are going to use proven.
Why aren't we talking nuclear?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that goes back to episode 1 when we had J.R. Majeski on, and we asked him point blank, and he said, hey, look, I'll back nuclear all the way. He's involved in the damn industry, and he knows. But this is the problem, because all these World Economic Forum types, all these globalist assholes, they want to push purposely worthless shit onto you so that they have you even further incapacitated and basically a prisoner in your own home, which is, by the way, in their world, not even your home.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just so ludicrous. Every type of thing that they push that's so insane and stupid, like, logical people will understand that, right? And it's definitely taken away from the real problems here that we have, like this whole Ukraine thing, everything else going on, but yet nobody describes and talks about the Hillary Clinton situation again, and anytime I see Biden on TV, I just want to cringe. It's always some bullshit coming out of his mouth.
Everything he does is always diversion. I mean, that's what everybody does on that side. They divert from what the actual problem is so they can say, oh, well, look at this instead. It kind of reminds me of that episode of The Walking Dead. Lizzie, look at the flowers. That's what the Biden administration is doing to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at he walked back everything he said, like a week ago? He walked it back within like 5 days, and then pretended like the press was all like he had the little flashy thing, like the Men in Black gimmick, and that's basically what I didn't say that, man. That's and it's like pop. You're literally every media outlet in the world like records every stupid thing that comes out of your blathering mouth, and we have it, and then you're gonna tell us we didn't hear exactly what we heard. Wow! Wow! I wonder why so many people fell for the 2-year trial of the New World Order, and I don't mean I mean the wrestling faction. the wrestling faction.
I mean,
the
technically,
wrestling
we
faction.
had all of his words from the last 40 years, and
Yeah.
they all forgot
Well-
about that when he was running for office. So
Well-
it's
Yeah.
easy for him to expect that they'll just forget about what's been said.
Oh, because don't you know, guys? He certainly loves black people. Joe Biden
Well,
loves
oh,
black
yeah.
people.
That's-
Doesn't
I
he?
was gonna say,
that's the only people who can vote for him. Otherwise,
always
he's not
go-
black.
I always go back to that. I'm like, so you're telling me that a senile octogenarian who eulogized the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, Robert Byrd, I believe it was Robert Byrd was
Yeah,
his name,
Robert
his
Byrd.
his
Robert
his,
Byrd.
his buddy, his bosom, his buddy,
Grand Dragon.
yeah, the Grand Dragon,
The
whatever
Grand
that,
Poobah.
whatever their
Grand
title is,
Poobah.
the idiots with the pointy hats. He got more of the black vote than the first black president of the United States, and I don't mean Bill Clinton, but it's seriously like you're telling me that Joe Biden, who literally said, "Oh, his poor kids are just as smart as white kids," like, and he got more of the black vote than the first black president, and yet everybody else is racist, and he's on the right side of. I don't want to live in this fucking planet anymore. I don't. Like, are you kidding me?
That's
and
like the
we're all
least
just
of the
like-
shit he said.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Cliff Notes,
You
PG
ain't black.
version. Yeah. Well,
Capital pressures, Medicare
Oh, I-
aid.
I've got a lot of mileage out of that. You ain't black. How Charlemagne the God didn't come unglued is beyond me, but I don't.
Here's like a small times comment right here that we highlighted. I
Yeah.
mean, he hit it spot on because I
He's
feel
an
like
actor.
Zelensky is like a puppet president in
Oh.
there. And Jasmine and I were talking on the phone before she came on here because I was, we were going over like topics and stuff, and we were talking exactly about all the crooked shit that Ukraine is mixed up in. I mean,
Drew, if I might just add real quick, I don't know about being a puppet president, but he is a puppet dictator.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he shut down any opposition, so you can't, you can't criticize the government in Ukraine at all. The other thing is, don't forget, guys, the CrowdStrike servers that were, supposedly intruded into during the election are located by coincidence where? In the Ukraine. Then you got all the shit that people like to conveniently forget about Burisma.
Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Hunter,
and then we already know. I mean, how the fuck is this country not at the top of an Interpol list for like the biggest crime destination in the around the globe? I mean, Jesus Christ. It's one of the major hubs of human trafficking.
That's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say. Human trafficking, dude. That's
Yes.
it right there.
100.
Yeah, and money laundering. I mean, let's
Remember, what the leftists know of Ukraine is that Trump was very mean to them and got impeached for doing something to them. Don't know what. Don't know what was ever proven, but Trump was mean to Ukraine. So we better be on their side for everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ukraine is run by Yahtzees. Like, since we have to be.
Lindsay coming in
Yes.
and dropping a truth bomb right there. Funny
That's
how they
what's
call
right.
us Nazis. Yeah, exactly. Funny how they call us Nazis while the elites are aiding literal Nazis in
Yeah.
Ukraine. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about the Azov battalion. No, not at all.
Yeah.
No.
They just gloss right over that.
Hey, listen, it's all the bad Russians' fault. It's not the fault of the Nazis running Ukraine. It's all the Russian and President Putin's fault. This has been the Communist United News Transmission Service with approved news from government in Mother Russia.
As my buddy Jorge says, they line pockets. So many.
And they're all coming to this country now. And it's not even Mexicans mostly jumping the border anymore. It's people from all these other countries. Now you have a shit ton of them coming through California for what? Okay, so that's more sex trafficking. Secondly, they're going to go straight for our benefits. That's the second thing, because we all know that this country is run by people that strictly hate America. They're against everything that this country stands for. But that said, the last election, I mean, if you do not think the last election was rigged, then you are really stupid. And a lot of people were voting so emotionally at the same time, but I still say Biden did not get enough votes. Yeah, there are enough dumb girls out there. Oh my God, we're going to have a female vice president of color. Okay, let's get something straight. She's not African American, guys. She's West Indian or East Indian. Her mother is an endocrinologist or a thyroid doctor. So she grew up with money. So she was never bussed from an okay area of an LA into the ghetto. So it's so many things. And I feel like us giving, well, not us, but that jackass giving Ukraine all this money, say, oh, let them all into the country. It's blackmail because they have so much stuff on him. We can go to Hunter's laptop. We can go to all the election fraud, those machines. It's a list. And we just got to pray and hope that it just comes out somehow. But slowly but surely, it's coming out.
Well,
No
Jasmine,
problem.
there's something out when all this stuff started. I mean, I remember early on they were doing like recounts and everything, and really the whole thing with Arizona, where they did a complete recount, they said that all the original counting was fraudulent, and then all of a sudden that article just disappeared. Nobody wanted to talk about it. It became a non-entity because they started pushing all these other agendas out, and of course, the first one they started was with the whole kook bug nonsense. And then once that ran its course and they had to stop, then they come up with a war that they have to back. I mean, it's just the same
now they're
game
going
plan.
back, and now they're going back to climate change.
Yeah, it's the same game plan. They just run right in the same circle, and these idiots just don't see it. They're on the wheel, but guess what? There's no exit from the wheel.
They spun the wheel, and they're mad because we all made it through the cold, long, hard winter of death. The winter of death. The cold winter of death for the heathens like me who aren't vaccinated, who got the coof and was better in like less time than it takes me to get over a bad cold. This whole thing. I mean, and I was talking because you heard Dr. Fauci was on the other day talking about, oh, it's coming back. There's going to be more restrictions. There's another variant. Hide your heads in the sand.
Just in time for 2022 for these elections, it's coming back. But how many freaking variants can you have? And let's all not forget, he mishandled the AIDS crisis back in the 90s. Now, people I know that are HIV positive, they're living their best lives ever. So with COVID, it's true, but no one's pushed the whole agenda of being healthy. So this woman starts yelling at me for not wearing a mask in a Whole Foods. Let me tell you, she was like 20 times all of us put together. And I've just had it up to here. I just said to her, listen, you know what? I get it. You're unhealthy and you're a sloth. So maybe you should just stay home and just not buy food anymore. That's what you have to do. So, they did not
love them land whales.
What? Whales? Huh? No, I don't
land
like
whales.
Land whales.
Yeah,
that's what
I like them when I can eat them. It's true. And there's going to be another. Now, Fauci resigns. I heard that he gets about $350,000 a year in a pension.
Oh, he's making 400 right now.
Yeah.
And the book deals and everything else that he'll get. Because they still worship him.
He's got himself a golden parachute, and
he'll be on CNN or MSNBC.
Now it's funny.
Him and Don Lemon.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned Jasmine. With Kamala, all the shit she did getting to the fucking top. I mean, Jesus, she could have earned her own fucking ABN on the way up. I mean,
apparently, if you're Kamala, you get to the top from working at the bottom.
Don't you be picking on heels up Harris, all right? Look, she had to. Do you know how long she had to date Willie Brown and Montel Williams to get where she is now?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Willie Brown because years ago I was in San Francisco at the airport and I see Willie Brown and he's there. Then I see this woman running at him, stumbling in her little heels. Willie, baby, and it's her. So
that's fucking funny.
But what would happen though if, let's say, they do expose the election fraud. Then let's say we, then they see Biden or whatever. Hunter should not be giving the dad any money whatsoever from his bank account. Okay, then we have this witch, this cackling witch that's, in the person that's going to run this country. Now, if she gets called out, then it's that woman that looks like Michael Jackson's mugshots, Pelosi. So no matter what, it's a very scary thing, I think.
Oh yeah, well you got a hyena, you got a drunk, and then you got somebody who's just completely incoherent running
A
the country.
cackler. A cackler.
Look at
I'm
that.
still 100% sure that that's why they ended up picking Kamala Harris, was because they knew they won't go after Joe because nobody wants Kamala Harris. She was the first out of the presidential election in the primary on the Democrat side. She didn't even make it to the first polling.
That's the same reason why Obama picked Joe Biden, because he knew it was an insurance policy. No one back then wanted.
Soul Assassin said,
Okay.
"Don't
I know,
insult the Crypt Keeper's mom."
Did you peasants just mention me, General Pelosi? Look, I've got my scarf on. I got when I visited those peasants across the sea, and they gave me this hat and scotch too.
But like in all seriousness, I think like if the shit were to ever hit the fan, or it's like right there, I'm pretty sure Hillary would be the first to flip on everyone because they've got the most to lose. And let's not forget, like the day of the 6th, I saw the whole process that they were going through. I was watching Epoch or maybe Real America's Voice when all of this alleged action started happening. Pelosi gets up like so slowly and calmly, like she was expecting it, and she didn't want the National Guard there because we don't need them. So it's just so obvious what's going on, but we're just in such a broken system right now, and I'm hoping this gets fixed like sooner than later.
Well,
Yeah,
she
there
got
were
up slowly, 'cause
reports
if she
that
gets
she
the-
was telling the head of the Capitol Police that she was upset because they hadn't ordered lunch for all of the senators or the congressmen at that point.
Yeah, and she got up
During
slowly 'cause
during
it's
the
like-
worst day in American history.
The worst day,
The worst
the
day.
absolute worst, the worst
It was
day.
worse than Pearl Harbor, mind you.
Worse than Pearl Harbor, worse than 9/11, worse than the cold, hard, black winter of death that we just
Worse
survived.
than the Weather
all
Underground
survived.
actually bombing that
Yeah.
same building.
Yeah.
Twice.
Saul was that Saul Alinsky and his crew
Yeah.
there? Yeah. See,
No, that
yeah,
was
but-
Ayers. That was Bill Ayers.
William Ayers. Yeah, William Ayers. Yeah, but Jesus, but the January 6th was the epitome of the end times. The harbinger of doom was, the Buffalo Helmet Man. And
I get Will Smith tears every time I think about it.
I do too.
You should all be ashamed because January 6th made the Alamo look like a picnic. You should all be ashamed by putting these people down.
Yeah.
And they're wonderful freaking analogies of what happened.
Honestly, though, not gonna lie, I felt for a long time like the Viking dude was an operative, like he was a plant. I totally feel like that guy was a plant.
Well, wasn't there talks about he was kind of like on both sides of the fence?
There were photos of him at Antifa rallies, because you don't dress up like that to go to storm the Capitol with that. That was just so over the top. But they said he was at Antifa rallies before, which doesn't surprise me,
Yeah.
He just likes to party.
Yeah. But
He was fun.
And there's also they never questioned that Ray Epps dude, which still pisses me off.
No.
Mhm.
Well, they said they brought him in. They just won't release any transcripts from the
Oh hell no, they won't.
the deposition of him.
No.
Of course not.
But it's just there is a lot of people being held unjustly there, and I mean shit. Laura Logan, when she was here, she spilled it. She said that they're being treated like shit. They're being held unjustly. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But this is where we're at in our own country. We've got political prisoners in America. God, when we were growing up, because I'm old school Gen X, that was unheard of.
Yeah. Meanwhile, all the people who were in Guantanamo that they released are now back in charge of Afghanistan, running it. And we've started jailing our own people in Guantanamo style.
That was a pretty sweet deal for those terrorists, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
blue-eyed
whole
Korean-
military.
Blue-eyed Ruth
Yeah.
Korea in the base called it right here. FBI can't find the J6 bomb planter because guess what? It's themselves.
Exactly.
Even with video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it comes out. Like I just keep hoping every single day. I mean, then you have someone like Mike Lindell going around the country with that whole cyber symposium, trying to show the election fraud. I've never met the guy, but I have to say that's a very ambitious thing he's done so far. And with that said, I know in Michigan there was a Democratic lawmaker that started an investigation on 8 machines that were compromised prior to the election. So we're not going to hear anything about that anytime soon. Did you guys
Not-
see Epoch Times today? There was God, where is the article? So whoever it was, he said he's happy he helped Trump lose the election because he didn't want the Hunter Biden laptop getting exposed because that would have swayed the election. Not that people wanted to vote for Biden anyway because he's a piece of shit, but yeah.
That could have been just about anybody in Trump's cabinet
What,
that
uh,
was backstabbing left and right.
Who, Pence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Pence was an establishment all the way. you
Oh
know?
God, yes.
Never.
I don't. I had
He's
friends
gonna
from
announce he's
Indiana.
running.
Ugh. He's as bad as Mitt. He's as big a piece of shit as Mitt Romney. There,
Yeah.
I said it.
Or
He
Kasich.
is. Oh God.
Crazy.
There's like, dude, I live in Michigan. The politicians here are bums. Like we got
He said
Deadeye.
bums.
Deadeye.
You're
You
a
got
bum rock. A bum.
You're a bum rock. Deadeye's Whitmer over there. They were gonna kidnap me, put my boat in the water. Ugh, stupid bitch.
What, the FBI was going to do it?
Yeah, exactly. The FBI coerced a bunch of morons into
Yeah.
formulating a lame brain plan. The FBI's like, here's all the weapons, here's all the stuff. They're gonna kidnap the governor. They're gonna kidnap. It's like
There's like a group of 20 guys and 12 of them were FBI agents.
they're FBI.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
It's as bad as those idiots that were stomping around in khakis and had matching
God,
shields.
dude.
And the Patriot Front or whatever they were called. Was that their name? Those idiots, like the khaki army.
The guys with the tiki torches standing in the rain.
Yeah.
Now, see, if they want to scare somebody, they should hire somebody that looks like the guys from oh God, what was that movie with Ned Beatty? You got it.
Deliverance?
Deliverance.
Yes,
Deliverance.
Deliverance. They
Ding,
need to
ding,
get some
ding,
people
ding,
like
ding.
that. That'll scare the shit out of America.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
You like movies about gladiators, Timmy? Wrong movie. That was the Hunter Biden story. Sorry, that was in pre-production.
Well, there's a rumor that he lives on the Venice canals in Venice, California. It's a very artsy millennial type area. I'd like to have that address if I could get my hands on that.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, how to do you have to be to live there?
You know, it's really weird. It was a very cool area years and years ago, and then it just slowly but surely changed to these useless millennials, like man bun wearing guys who wear skinny pants down the middle of their ass crack.
Beta
You know,
males.
girls that don't dress up on a Friday night, that type of mentality, and is fourth wave feminists. So that's what's there now. People that are probably all for transgendered males or women competing against girls.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I did kind of want to, you know, it's good that you brought that up because I did want to ask you what you thought about that because it's an alarming trend
Uh-huh.
that you know it's almost like they're erasing women.
Well, you really want me to tell you the truth?
Yeah,
That's
Go-
why you have me
please.
here, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what
it.
the truth is. So first and foremost, I know this is going to get crazy. Now you're going to get me spinning again that I'm not going to be able to get to sleep tonight. So here's what happens. I get up in the morning and I talk politics and I'm wound up for the day. Then I slowly calm down like a little kid. Then I start talking it again. Then I get amped up for a while. So first and foremost, we could look at it this way that it's a man suppressing a woman. It's just a guy, you know, who lost at everything else in life and like with sports, and now you're competing against a woman. So it's very hypocritical for these fourth wave of feminists to think that it's okay. Secondly, there's no way it's fair because you have testosterone, guys have a different bone mass, and when they start taking hormone suppressors, doesn't that do something emotionally? Now, this also prevents young girls from going after scholarships because they can go out. You can go for an athletic scholarship, but not necessarily will you get it because you're competing against whatever, some guy that cut his shit off or just took hormone suppressors or felt like he was a woman today and grew his hair long. So the true winner isn't that Emma, it's whoever was second in place. That's the real winner. And as soon as like the NCAA could like stop pushing these PC initiatives and just move forward with what's right, I think it will be a much better place. But I don't see why parents aren't a bigger outrage. Where are these freaking feminist groups? Like, why aren't they out there? Oh, that's right. We're dealing with like the fourth wave of feminism, where you have to demasculinize men as much as you possibly can, and hopefully we get women's rights. Well, that's questioning your own rights right there.
Yeah.
Well, they're also trying to push all this stuff because it helps with all of these people follow along the same lines of Marxist ideology, which is getting pushed through postmodernism. So they're trying to convince as many people as possible that we live in a subjective reality, that you can pick and choose what is your version of objectivity. And if they can convince men can be women, women can be men, no matter what, you can change everything but the chromosomes. I heard some crazy story about a man who tried to have a uterus, like it, surgically inserted.
Where it gets
His name
to
was
be-
Will Smith.
where it gets to be a bridge too far for me, okay, is when you get these fuckers going on Twitter and it's clearly a fucking dude and he's like, I started my period today. He's like, no, motherfucker, you did not.
This cramping is ridiculous.
You did not. Just stop. You did not.
That's just post-surgery pain.
Stupid. Yeah, that's the other thing is if they want to compete in sports, let them have their own league. How about that?
There's
How
not
about
enough
the
of them.
transgender league? Huh?
Well,
there's not enough of them. I mean, they keep trying to convince us that there's billions of them, but no, there aren't any. So
well, let me ask you this. Someone I know, it's a guy that was in the Navy. I used to think he was hot, but after he made this comment, he's like, he shrank from like a 20 to like a -0. He said to me, transgender should be included in everything, including in the military. And I had my argument about being not of sound judgment because you're on all these crazy suppressors and you're not assured of yourself. Well, they'll stop committing sex crimes if people gave them more opportunities.
Just nonsense. And you know what? As far as what these people are doing to each other too, I've seen something on Twitter recently where this girl was talking about, she was crying, talking about she didn't want to have to change her gender, but she was being peer pressured by all her friends that were on board with the whole trans things, and they were transitioning, so she had to. And this is another thing that these people are doing, that they're forcing their thoughts and their beliefs on other people, trying to make them change the way that they think. It's really disgusting. Like, I don't know why more people don't even notice these things going on and how disgusting it really is, but people just got their heads buried in the sand and they think, oh, well, it's just a minor problem. No, it's becoming a major problem because you got these younger kids that are buying into this shit. And then they're telling their friends, and their friends, well, I have to be on board. It's like the latest fad. We all got to get on board with this. And that's how that shit winds up staying in circulation a lot longer than it should.
It's the most dangerous fad that's been introduced pretty much in history. And the fads when we were kids were like, oh, you wore, black nail polish and eyeliner and called yourself goth or emo, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't chop off your junk. I mean, or take pills to stop you from ever having children or anything else. I mean,
that's disgusting.
I have two. Oh, go ahead.
I said you leave your kids, like, I don't have kids, I don't want them, but like you leave your kids with strangers to raise them for 8 hours a day. So it's not canceling transgender or anything like that when you don't permit your school to teach them about sex. That's not their place. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's why I have a 6-year-old, and he goes to a private school. I substitute teach at his school, and there is none of that shit there. Like that is a no-fly zone. Like I'm ecstatic about that fact, and and the kids there, like it's great because I listen to them and even like the younger was about, because I teach like K through 8. And it's like you get the fourth, they start talking about politics and stuff like that, and it's they're all like, you can tell there's no maybe I would say about out of 90 families in that school, there's probably about 4 that I would even consider anywhere left to center, and it's actually refreshing to see a young crop of kids. Now, that's not to say when they go to public school and college. I mean, we see what college does to normal kids now. It turns them into basically insane leftists, like, just activists like that don't have a purpose. That's a perfect example. And I have 2 cousins, Bill de Blasio's daughter. She went to university as like a normal young woman, and now she's something else.
She
She's
came out
a
with the
child.
crazy eyes. Like she doesn't look out her eyes right.
Well,
It looks
supposedly
That's
alright.
what we call what do you call them? The TikTok guys, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
the
She looks
largest
like
Democrat
AOC.
voting bloc still left is
Yeah.
the college educated at this point, because
Wow.
they've stopped having the ability to use common sense and just believe whatever is told to them.
Straight
mean-
indoctrination. Just straight up indoctrination.
College and school used to be a place where you learned how to learn. I mean,
Yep.
how to educate and get educated, how to read a book and how to take information from that book. Now you're not learning to learn, you're learning what they want you to know.
Yeah. Not
Propaganda.
how to think, but what to think.
And that's it. That's like always, like, as an educator, you have to have that philosophy. I'm not teaching them, I'm teaching them how to learn. I give them the information and they discern from it what they will, what derivatives stick with them over time. And no, now they're just like these. We had an openly Antifa teacher at our public high school here.
Oh God.
And he was militant to the pack. He would like call students stupid if they disagreed with him. If he knew your family was conservative, he would be just be a piece of shit to these kids in school. And as somebody who had a teacher call him stupid in 3rd grade, and it like stunted my math abilities, like literally for the rest of my like educational career. Which is funny because I worked in finance, but I had a computer. I didn't need to know how to do it in my head or on paper. But no, that's the absolute wrong. You cannot have people like that working in an education system, and the public school system is a mess. Thanks, No Child Left Behind. It is. And teachers unions protect. They protect some pieces of shit. They do. They're absolutely horrible, and it's disgusting to see because it has such an adverse effect on the younger generation. It's like, what are they going to learn?
Well, they're lazy, just real lazy. There's a guy outside of my house like a few weeks ago, and I used to like 19 or 20 years old, and you see the dad in the Tesla. Hey, Dad, could you give me more money? Give me more money. It's like you're 20 freaking years old. Like, why are you chasing after Dad in a Tesla? And the dad's like driving off. And now I'm finding out that SATs, they're trying to do away with an SAT, but because it traumatizes people that are that don't have money, which is bullshit. It traumatizes you if you're stupid and lazy. Like I
Yeah.
remember spending my Saturdays to study for an SAT test to get into school. So you're saying that anyone could get into any college that they want to? No, it's not like that. You have to show that you're putting that effort forth, that you actually want to work and make something of yourself. Like today's like kids that are out there, they're just lazy for the most
No,
part.
Jasmine, I think I seen that same article you were talking about, and one
Yeah.
of the ones that I seen that they were talking about, they wanted to remove that from the high school SATs because they said reading, math, and everything else was unfair to people of the underclass.
It's racist.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's racist.
I didn't
They're
grow up
too
with
dumb
money.
to get
I still
licenses, and they're
pass.
too dumb to take the SATs.
Yeah,
We should
no,
start
you
putting
do.
the test
That's
out in
what they're
Ebonics.
teaching.
That's what we need to do.
What?
That's how we fix it. Put the test out in Ebonics. That's how we fix it.
Well, yeah, that's another way to do it. It's so stupid. Like I didn't grow up with money at all. We didn't have money in my family. So it just, I went and I took a class at a community college for my SATs, but I got into an Ivy League. I was able to get a scholarship. Oh, I wasn't even competing against a guy either. So yeah. And entitlement culture. Yes. Thank you very much. Entitlement culture. And then when you don't agree with them or you have a valid point against whatever they're saying, all they do is argue today.
Well,
I've got
you can literally see what the school system has done, and I've done this myself just because I like to torture people that work at like McDonald's and stuff. So you go up there and you order something that's I don't know, $6.25. Hand them a $20 bill, a $1 bill, and then hand them the 25 cents and watch them lose their minds trying to figure it out. They've got the computer right in front of them. They don't have to figure it out, but they still scratch their heads like, why? It's absolutely hilarious to watch them melt down.
Yes, it is.
I love that. I
And they
already
don't
did it at the pet store. So yeah,
and
the
they-
girl like freaked out.
And they don't know how to make change. And I mean, my
Mhm.
goodness, that's one of the first things that they made sure, at least when I was back in high school, they make sure that you know basic business math. So like how to make change and shit like that. But that's because I went to normal high school. Okay, like now it's just really all like fucked up, and they're trying to turn us into this fucked up alternate reality when we know the difference. But the sad thing is there's so many people falling for it because there's a serious lack of discernment now. And I put that partially on parents because they're not teaching their kids to be discerning or to research things or to think freely. And that's a problem to me. And it's the same thing with hiring practices now. You'll have like 5 qualified candidates, but in the sense of the way that they push quote equity and not equality, but equity, you have to give a person a head start and preferential treatment simply based on skin color or the fact that you have to meet a diversity standard in the workplace. Doesn't matter that they're not qualified. You still have to hire them over a qualified person that, oh, hey, they may just happen to be white or they may just happen to be Asian, but we got to pass those people over. Oh, we definitely have to pass those people over because, we have to, be all in on equity. And that is a serious problem right now because meritocracy's gone.
Meritocracy's gone. Idiocracy is in.
Yeah.
And the requirements for getting into a job these days have gotten ridiculous. Entry-level job requires a bachelor's degree and 5 years experience.
How am I supposed to get experience if I can't get a job?
Yeah.
Right.
That's ridiculous. I thought it required nothing. And you're not allowed to say anything to these people when they screw up. I mean, God forbid a girl couldn't make change. $10 bill's $8.25. She couldn't figure out like what the change was, and I didn't really freak out, but she just
Fucking
didn't know,
$3.
and she's like fumbling. I just said, like, what are the requirements to work at freaking Petco? Like 5th grade education?
A pulse. A pulse. Well, I mean, it's the same requirement to occupy the White House now. You have to have a pulse. I mean, and be able to fall up the stairs. With that being said, though, I have to cut. But I wanted to mention, you were talking about the hiring requirements and diversity. 21 years ago, actually 22 years ago now, when I was going to be a Michigan State trooper, I had to go through the interviews, do all that happy horse shit. I was never a Michigan State trooper. I got cut out in the hiring process. I had to take a test, though. You have to take your test. And as my recruiter, who is one of my dad's best friends, he told me, he says, you need to score a 99 or better on this to even be considered because you're a white male. And I'm like, what? He goes, yes. He goes, I'm just going to tell you the truth. He goes, I was like, well, how does that break down? And he was like, well, basically the way I look at it, and my girlfriend at the time, her aunt was the office manager for the captain of the entire state police. He worked at the recruitment center, all that. So headquarters is where I had to go to get all my interviews and shit done. I'd met all the lieutenants already. The interviews were a breeze. The shrink got me. But yeah, as a black female needed to score a 70%. Latino females were just a scotch higher than that. Latino males were a little bit higher. Black males were around like 65 to 70%. White guys, you had to get like 98 to 100 to be
Did you ask him what? Did you ask him the most important question? ETEP? Well, what about my privilege? What about my privilege?
Yeah, I was like, hi, I have a J card and I have white privilege. How about that?
22 years ago, that word didn't exist. Not in that way.
I still could have played. I should have been like, you're just anti-Semites. But they're like, no, they didn't take that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to go. Drew, panel, Jasmine, it was very nice meeting you. This chat rocks. Thank you, guys. I'm headed over to Tony Tonedeff's The Clown World Review, something near and dear to my heart. We're going to talk about professional wrestling, the Monday Night War retrospective. We are on July 22nd, 1996, and July 29th, 1996, over on Nitro, and, well, Raw. Whatever, we'll talk about Raw. It's nowhere near as fun. But the NWO is in, like, full swing right now. They're making backstage assaults. We get the first promo, the black... Yeah, it's as you guys know. Like I said, I was a professional wrestler. My title belt, our logo was very very NWO-esque. So yeah, this is my jam. This is my favorite time of professional wrestling. So yeah, after Drew's stream, if you guys want to come over and join us over there,
the Clown World Review. And if you want to subscribe to me, it's eTepokuian's the place to be reviews. And if you can't remember that, just search Pixar Moms with Dump Truck Asses. I'm third on the list on YouTube, so check that out. And thank you all. See you guys. Have a great night.
See you over there shortly.
Love you, Tip.
All right. All right,
Yeah,
see you
take
guys.
it easy, brother.
Jasmine.
Thank you.
Take it easy, Drew. Love you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you. All right. So, one of the things that I wanted to ask, because, oftentimes in our corner of YouTube in this community, I understand I'm more one of the political guys like me and Wes, but
No way, you're political? When did this happen?
Go figure.
I was asleep during the whole stream again, wasn't I?
I thought this was a safe space.
But I do write for mountingintocomics.com, and we cover all kinds of the entertainment industry. And along those lines, I wanted to get Jasmin's take on the current state of entertainment, because she is an actress. And, Jasmin, I wondered what you thought of just how ridiculous that Hollywood has gotten. And the examples I'll give you, just based on the shows that I've watched, like that ridiculous Halo thing that came out, which, by the way, I know the source material of, because I played all the games, and I know the source material inside now because I read the novels. What they've done with Star Wars, what they've done now with Star Trek, because the new Star Trek is ridiculous. It's just political shit. And I wanted, why do they continue to take these established franchises and destroy them, just, knowingly destroy them too, just to push this narrative when they're losing money? They are losing money.
It's because they don't have creativity like they used to. And now with this bogus, like, bullshit Me Too movement, I mean, I'm sure there's some victims out there of that. Like that one woman that was gang raped in Central Park that was a mother of three, who, like, Reese Witherspoon and her group of that little women's foundation for women who are victims of sexual crimes didn't give her a dime. There are instances of that. Then there are instances of people that had buyer's remorse after sleeping their way to the top. So with that said, people don't have as much, as much nudity on screen, sex on screen. Then we have the whole issue of violence and guns.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone's a dipshit like Alec Baldwin, who has a 7th child on the way, by the way. Then you have the whole BLM thing. It's like its own set of racism, and it's like it's in its own way, because they'll hire you and you got preference if you're African American, or if you're Asian, or if you're like transgender. So it's leave remakes. Let's not do any more remakes, first and foremost, especially with like Fresh Prince. Why are we remaking that? Why are we remaking any of these? What was the other one? Wonder Years. Why are we redoing this? Let's just drop it with original stuff. Like, see if we have any originality out there, like anything. And it seems like it's just a dying breed right now, and people are also limited on what they can do. And it's funny because today, like, even in the class that I'm in, the teacher was like pushing everyone about vaccines, and there are a lot of liberal kids in there, and they don't want to hear that, but for some reason it just feels like everyone's brainwashed. And you have, the truth is, people will always listen to these actors because some way or another they've affected the average person's life personally by some kind of work they did, but it doesn't mean you got to go listen to them.
Well, another thing,
real quick, I heard you called my name, and Jasmin, I'm just going to tell you up front.
Yeah,
I'm a straight shooter, and I'm going to tell you it was Splenda. Splenda did it. It was all Splenda's fault. Don't believe what you've heard on the news.
That's crazy. I thought you were shooting blanks, Alec.
I had to get him out of here. He had to go.
Yeah, maybe his wife could teach like yoga or something, because God knows, like, the day after all this stuff happened to that poor woman, I mean, the kid's 9 years old. He lost his mother. They were very close. Then she's up there posting her stupid ass yoga crap. Like, why are you doing this? And how blessed she is with her family. So I hope that they go after him for that, because it's really horrible how he's handled it. He's taken no accountability. Why isn't he canceled? Oh, that's right. He's a liberal.
Mhm.
I forgot.
Yeah,
Duh.
and you know, one of the other things too that I noticed is a lot of these like writers and even the showrunners now, they're just straight up activists. Like they're not trained actual writers because
Mm.
like and I know that you know this from probably from taking your classes, studying, just acting, in front of the camera and behind the camera on a whole, just everything that you could do on a set. And writing especially, it used to be people use techniques like hero's journey and redemption stories and things of that nature. You don't see that now. All it is one dimensional political messaging, and it's just, hey, we're going to virtue signal this whole thing for an hour, and if you don't agree with what we say and you don't like the show, well then you are a racist, or you are a misogynist, you are a bad audience.
Well, you know what? I think Jasmine actually hit it. The point is no creativity, and I've been saying that about companies like Disney forever now. It seems,
Yeah.
and what is that? They used to be the Imaginate and the Imagineers or whatever.
Yeah, the
now it's
Imagineers.
the Unimagineers now at this point. But the biggest thing that you could tell that they have no imagination is all the self insertions. Because you don't write a story based on yourself or based on your ideology or the way you look, and that's all you're seeing with a lot of these new shows, comics, you name it. It's all insertion. It's all bullshit.
And all of these
and I
people are
think
so
it's also
narcissist that they don't think that people could connect with a character, have any understanding of a character, unless their physical qualities match what is shown on screen. I mean, I've connected with characters like, I don't know, I'll just throw out Ellen Ripley. She gets used a lot, but she's a great freaking character. I don't have to be the same, sex, gender, or even height. I'm pretty sure what is she, like 6'2" or some shit?
Oh, and Steven, you gotta love the recency bias too, because they always like to come out and act like their new thing. This is the first female action hero, really?
Yeah.
Because we've only had them since the fucking 60s and 70s, but you don't want to conveniently mention that because it blows your narrative right square in the ass.
I mean, hell, you could even go with like the most misogynistic series of movies in the world, James Bond films. You had Pussy Galore in Goldfinger, and she was flying planes and shooting guns and flipping James into the hay, before they fucked, because it's James Bond and you gotta fuck him.
That's
I think
Well,
I think
you
part
can't
of it is
now.
they're-
He has to sit on the back of the scooter and let the black chick drive.
yeah. I think part of it is Hollywood is just reinforcing what they're teaching in the schools. I mean, what shows do not have an alphabet person now? What shows aren't made up primarily of minorities? If they don't get you in the schools, they're going to tell the kids, okay, well, the alphabet stuff is completely normal, and you can tell because they outnumber all the normal or the straight people on every TV show. I mean, it's not a representation of 3% of the population. They try to make it appear to be more like 25% of the population.
Our pal R2 the Icky says, don't forget Plenty O'Toole. Yeah, it's just it's gotten crazy.
it's too much.
Yeah, man. Jasmine, I know that you work in the industry, but boy, there's got to be times you get exasperated.
With that, yes, sometimes you just have to let it go in one ear, out the other. I mean, after class today, this idiot that you would think is like smart enough to know a little better because he's a grown man, all I said was, you were talking about pillows. All I said, oh, Mr. Pillows, it's the best. Like, I used to buy my pillow long before any of this, and he's like, don't go on your Trump train. I said, what does it have to do with Trump? All I said was that he makes awesome pillows, and his towels are honestly the best I've tried, because they absorb really well and they're soft and they last long. So this jackass in his 50s goes off on this. He's like, well, I'm a left-wing nut job. I'm like, damn straight you are. Nut job, yeah, because people are clueless and misinformed.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it's just so. I don't know how anybody could choose to stay. It just locked away in one echo chamber like that, and I had a conversation with about this with someone last night where we were talking about the fact that it can happen on both sides very easily. You can have an echo chamber on the right, and you can have an echo chamber on the left. But it's up to you as an individual to understand that you can think freely and have discernment. You don't have to be pushed into a box. You can do things for yourself, but people don't take the initiative and do things for themselves. They follow narratives and allow themselves to be placed in a box, and it's like, come on.
It's
Well,
like being
and we definitely
brainwashed.
have our own echo chambers on the right, but the difference to me is we have our echo chambers, but literally everything else is pretty much leftist. So we're still exposed
Yes.
to it either way. A leftist actually has to seek out a right echo chamber to actually get any exposure to the right because there is none in any of the media. So we actually end up typically being much more well informed than the typical leftist because we do have forced exposure to it.
We're also more open to having our own views challenged. I mean, Tommy and I were on a stream last night over on Shellback's channel, and just for I threw out the opposite side's argument just to see what his response would be. It's we want to challenge each other's views.
Yeah, because it's healthy. But these you try to speak to a leftist, you will never get uh, a cogent argument, and you will never get a good faith argument because guaranteed they will make one statement, and if you disagree, the next thing that comes out of their mouth is what? All name calling.
Yeah,
You're
fascist,
Racist,
racist.
fascist. Yep.
You're a Trumper. You're good
Hysterophobe.
at that.
Mhm. Hey, and I'm proud. I will vote for President Trump again. I am very proudly supportive of President Trump, and I always will be, because his policies worked. I don't give a shit that he got off the hook a few times on Twitter. Actually, I found it fucking amusing. But the thing is at the end of the day, the policies worked. And things were actually thriving. I mean, and you can just see that because, hey, hello, I have $4.35 gas around the fucking corner from me. That's unheard of around here.
Yeah.
I know.
What price on the gas is it going to take to actually get people to start revolting?
Yeah.
I mean, is it going to take $5-6? I mean, because we know it's going up there, but when are people going to actually throw a fit about
Wait,
it?
where do you live that it's $5 or $6?
It's not there yet. It will be.
Where
I'm
are
in
you?
Colorado.
Oh
We're at
God, it's like
we're at like
$8 here.
$4.40 or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jasmine,
That's typical.
it went
that
to,
you guys are higher.
Yeah, it went to fucking $8 by you. It's over $8 by you.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing I have a motorcycle, as I don't have a car. So it's like 16 or 24, 16, anywhere from 16 to like $24 to fill it up.
Yeah. See, thank God. Right.
Yeah, I remember when I bought my new car, I was driving a Mitsubishi Spider before that had about a 12, 13-gallon tank, but I put the high grade in it, then I switched over. I got a Hyundai Elantra. The thing has a 10-gallon tank, takes regular. So, and this is when gas prices were at their lowest. So I went from paying like about $30 a tank to immediately it was like $15 to fill up my tank. It was amazing. I was loving it. Yeah, I was loving it. And then the gas prices started going up, and now I'm already up to it's almost $40 for me to fill up my tank. In a matter of a year, it's gone from 15 to almost 40 to fill up my tank.
Well, I had my wife's car out and I didn't even completely fill it up, and it was over $40 when I did it. And I know before this idiot got into office, I remember looking at the gas prices and I was like, holy shit, I haven't seen prices like that since before Hurricane Katrina hit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came back after dealing with all the shit at my father's house, and the beginning of this year, the first time I take my wife's car out to go get gas, it was over $2.99 then. That was just earlier this year. I mean, it's just ridiculous how much all the shit went up by. And then they're talking about, all the prices of food are going to be going up. Now he's talking about food shortages, and all this stuff is all related to all of it. It's all connected.
Right, absolutely, it is, man. It's crazy how this shit has taken hold. But man, I just absolutely hate this, because all it is things that could be easily avoided, because we already know that the economy we had pre-COVID was on a record pace. We were on a record pace for prosperity.
Yeah,
Yep.
we were. So I mean,
Energy independent.
We were a net exporter of oil instead of an importer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are gonna be pissed real soon when everything else that gets transported by this high cost gas is going to just skyrocket as well.
Mm-hmm.
They'll blame it on something else, but outside of the inflation, that's the other effect we're gonna have is with this high cost gas. That's gonna get passed on to everybody. And
didn't they
we
just
were
say
in a place where we were going great.
Mm-hmm.
Brahma, didn't they just say too that we're going to see it because Russia's the biggest wheat exporter in the world, according to them?
Is it Russia or is it Ukraine?
I thought it was Ukraine.
The one I seen, they were trying to claim it was Russia was the biggest wheat exporter in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, they would be getting it from Ukraine then, because that's really like the most fertile area in that portion of Europe.
Yeah, that was the breadbasket of the Soviet Union.
Yep, that's why they had to starve them out in the 1920s. Yep, with the Holodomor, there was a manufactured famine in Ukraine. Actually, sorry, it was the 30s. I think it was 1932. Manufactured famine in Ukraine under Stalin. I think it was like 10 million people essentially starved to death. And I think that's why Russia wants Ukraine back, because they're one of the most fertile areas in the world. And that's why I'm kind of glad where I live, and I feel bad for a lot of other people who don't live in big agricultural hubs, because we grow everything here in Georgia where I am, and it's not just peanuts, and really we don't do a lot of peaches, but I mean there's a dozen places around here where I can drive to a corner and there's some old guy with 3 teeth and a white beat up pickup truck selling all sorts of produce. So I don't have to go to the stores, but people who are stuck going to supermarkets, they're going to actually have to deal with these food shortages. They might want to go ahead and get some of those, Patriot Supply, or just buy canned food, beans, rice.
Well, you guys said the other stuff's going up. I mean, shit, look at the price of ground beef now. It's absolutely ridiculous, because that's steadily going up.
Yep. Well, everything's going to go up. Anything that gets transported is going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just one of the reasons, but I mean, we all know how economics works. At least on this side, we know how economics works. We know what's causing it. So, I mean, it's going to get messier. I mean, we're not doing anything to curb any of this.
And I really think we're with a lot of these food shortages, I think it's just how the machine works finally catching up with all of the animals that got slaughtered, all of the farms that got shut down during the pandemic, that they weren't going to allow people to ship around, where they needed to go. So I think that's where a lot of this is coming from, is that, it takes a good 1.5 years, 2 years for things like that to actually catch up to the rest of the economy. So you had entire farms who went bankrupt during that time because, they weren't special enough to get the PPE loans.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's sadly that seems to be the way of things at the moment. But no, I think we'll see a rally after the midterms and stuff. So
I hope so, but it's still going to take a while to turn it around, and you still have to be able to override a presidential veto.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there has to be the actual red tsunami.
Yeah, I mean, just the way our government works, it's kind of mostly screwed in a lot of these places, and we're going to have to take steps to, get ahead of what they're going to try and do to us. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene recently put out a video where she was talking about a spending bill just got put up, a 1.5 trillion spending bill, and they didn't announce it to any of the senators through the normal means. They put it up on the DNC website after midnight that there was going to be a meeting at 1:30 in the morning. By 2:30 in the morning, they had concluded that the bill was done and that they can't add any amendments to it. And then next day they had to go in and vote on it. So
yeah,
enough of those people are on both sides of the aisle. I mean, we've got like two people on the left that are kind of holding things up, but there's enough people on the right who are going to capitulate if they know they're going to get their pockets greased.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%, man. Rabbit Slug to Ouchies, thank you for the kind words and the condolences, sir. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's gonna take a minute to break out of this. When the red wave happens in the midterms, I don't think they're gonna like that L very much.
I think a lot of the market side of things, like, particularly with the stock exchange, a lot of that, unfortunately, they do pay attention to who the president is. Because if we look at, the day Trump got elected, he wasn't even in office yet. The stock prices went up and people were doing more trading. And then the day that Biden won the election, before he even went into office, stocks went down and they stopped trading as much.
It's because while Wall Street may always be villainized by the Democrats, they know that the Democrats are bad for them, not the Republicans. I mean, technically, your millionaires anymore, the upper class anymore is, almost exclusively leftist.
Yep. Yeah, not just in the government. I mean, private business, that all of the people who get elected to the board of directors for these companies. And I think a lot of them aren't like sincere leftists. They're just saying what they are being told by their PR firms who are leftists, what they need to say in order to keep the public. These people will say anything to, keep people coming in and buying the stuff from them.
Yeah. And to stay in power.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, looks like
Nelson, the gentleman, send a donation in for your mom as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nelson, and I appreciate that. And again, folks, those of you coming in, you may or may not know, Mom passed away this week. This past Wednesday, we are doing a Give, Send, Go for her. So again, I will just drop that in the chat, and you guys can help by circulating that around, and we can donate to get Mom the proper honorable and just the wonderful burial that she deserves. So I'm hoping for that.
Make sure you send me the link as well on Twitter.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll make sure actually I send it right after the show. Actually, I'll just drop it in your thing now. But yeah, we're off to a good start, and I'm just looking forward to being able to kind of have the ability to have that time to grieve and be able to take care of the probate and the funeral and everything else, and to have that time also to vet roommates, because I'm going to actually have to take on a roommate, folks, which is interesting because the only times previously I have been out on my own, I always lived with a girlfriend, never just a roommate. So it's going to be a new experience.
No, your hand doesn't count anymore?
He needs more than one hand.
I couldn't help that, Drew. It's not my fault. Tree Rock Creations, any comments on California company Disney trying to rule the Florida state? Yeah, I was actually laughing my ass off at Ron DeSantis's reply to what Disney said.
Not only
Yeah.
did that, but didn't like nobody actually participate in the walkout? That's what Drunk 3PO was saying. It was like 12 people in California and 0 people in Florida actually participated in their walkout.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't much. I mean, but they did take a nice big group picture of the
Oh, of
15 or
course.
20 people that were participating and then blew it up to make it look like it was huge on all the media.
Oh,
of
they've had
course
a
they
lot of
did.
practice with that from all of Biden's public rallies he was doing before the election. It's like, oh, we can make 12 people look like 200 real easy. No problem, boss.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny what DeSantis has been doing to all of the left at the moment. I mean, we were talking earlier about the swimmer, the national championship. DeSantis actually, the second place swimmer is actually in Florida, and he went and basically just declared, "No, you were the national champion," just to rile him up some more and to right a wrong. But that was funny.
Well,
I mean, he's really under their skin.
Well, what about the meltdown that Ron Perlman had over what DeSantis did with that bill? And,
Yeah.
and, you know, obviously the left has a real problem with reading and comprehension skills too. I've noticed that over the years. God, those people are freaking dumb.
Oh, he's literally a silverback gorilla, just without the power and status of one. Ron Perlman has been he's been a moron for years now. And
oh man, that guy is lost in the fucking weeds, you guys. I know that they're doing a like a Comic-Con type thing in Cleveland, and it's actually coming up, I think, in April, and he's going to be there. And I'm just like, oh Jesus, you know, because I want to go.
Anarchy.
Yeah, I want to go because, you know, of course, like you guys know how I am about Battlestar Galactica, so I want to go because Katie Sackhoff's there.
Oh, nice.
But you know, I don't know in your travels, Jasmine, if you met any of the BSG folks that
No,
were on that show, but
no. Maybe like Comic-Con, but no.
But yeah, I met Katie Sackhoff and Trisha Helfer, awesome fucking people. But I wanted to go talk to Katie. But yeah, I mean, and Shatner's going to be at that one too. It would be worth going for Shatner as well. But
yeah, he's
I don't
probably
know.
running out of them.
I might try to go to it, but yeah, Ron Perlman is like the least of people I want to see at one of those things, because it's like, Jesus, dude, you know, you got to be like the biggest moron on planet Earth.
I tell you what, I would love for him to be at one, because I'd be the guy that walks right up to him as close as I can get and just laugh in his face at how stupid he is. I give absolutely no shits.
I thought you were going to say you would walk by him and just fart, bro.
Crop dust him.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea. I'm going to have to go get some Skippy peanut butter for this one. I'm going to have to prepare.
And it's like sad with Ron Perlman and a lot of these actors, because I mean, I don't have to agree with everyone to enjoy their art, but damn, like I've liked a lot of his roles over the years. I mean, hell, I've got, probably showed to you guys, I got a poster of a movie he's in right over here. Got a Name of the Rose.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, you know, and you would think, but the guy is just, man, he is a Looney Tune from the word go. But yeah, if I went to that, obviously, you know, everybody in the chat knows how I am about Katie Sackhoff, so that would be the reason I would go, and just to BS with her and talk to. I got the guy from Battlestar that played the lawyer, Romo Lampkin, and he's been in some of the episodes that we were talking about on Pegasus Actual. So I would see. I would go for him too, but I don't know. I might go to it. I can get a press credential, so that's a nice thing about writing for an outlet. You could get one of them, save a little bit of scratch. So yeah, if I can pull that off, I might go check it out, because I can cover it.
Just don't do like I did when I saw Edward James Olmos. I was drunk as shit. It's like 3 a.m. at Atlanta, Dragon Con, and I'm walking with a group of friends, and he walks past us. And he's got this woman that's on his arm, and he's like talking to her, and it's like, I can't stop this guy. He's talking to this woman. He's walking her back to her hotel room at like 3 a.m. So I just gave him like a little wave, and he gave me like a little finger gun and a wink, and I was like, oh, that's fucking cool as shit. And my friends were like, who was that? I was like, that was James Earl Jones, man. And I said it loud enough to where he could hear me. And I realized like 10 seconds later, like, oh shit, that is not James Earl Jones.
Nice. Oh,
Wrong
man.
actor, wrong race, wrong everything there.
Completely wrong. I mean, they're both great actors, but
Just had 3 names.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I know I wanted to ask Jasmine, you've done the convention scene too, haven't you?
A lot of the times, yeah, I have.
Like, do you have like any like favorite things like that you encountered in the convention scene, or do you have any like fun stories or horror stories?
You know what? It's all the same stuff. I mean, it's just the same people you see there. There's never been anything that really stands out, you know what I mean, or sticks out in my mind at this time. Because there have just been so many of these conventions. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, what can I say? I would just say the craziest thing was some jackass in a Kiss mask who never took his mask off that was, following me around at like HorrorCon one year. Then there was a guy waving a handgun outside of a convention once.
Mm-hmm.
He followed me from Texas. I met him in Texas. It was some fan. Then he was waving the handgun outside of my room in like Rhode Island or somewhere. It was so stupid.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's
Those are some
crazy.
Some warning signs.
Huh?
Those are some warning signs.
Yeah, it might be a warning sign that you're not all there.
Yeah, no shit. I was going to ask you too, like, what do you think is the most fun, like, horror project that you've done?
Me? I hate to say this, but I haven't done like that many like horror films. I would say the most challenging one was Bad Apples because we were shooting in Santa Clarita and it was freezing cold at night.
Oh goodness!
I was in a trailer getting murdered. But I just remember having allergies that day. I mean, it was so bad to the point where I kept sneezing and sneezing. And if it was now, people would think I probably have COVID, but I was sneezing and it kept wiping my makeup off, like all here throughout the day. So she had to keep going back and, touching my face up just for that. But it was excruciating. It's one of those things you actually remember,
I imagine it's hard to play a dead body when you're sneezing every few minutes too.
Well, that's getting killed and then being dead, but it was just freezing and the generator ran out. Then there was talk about doing it like another day, which should have been the third day. I'm like, I can't do this for another day. It's just impossible.
Finish it.
If you in that genre, what would you say would be like if you had a shot to do like a film in one of the big horror franchises? What would you like ideally pick? Like as a fan or otherwise?
Who's the director? No. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nice.
I'd say like one of the Halloween ones, but I like Nightmare on Elm Street. And I think when you have someone like Rob Zombie directing Halloween, I don't think it was as great as the original, but it was.
No, the Carpenter's all the way.
Oh yeah, of course.
What Carpenter before he went bad? Because I finally seen that new one.
Oh, did you see both of them? You saw 2018 and
no, I just seen the Halloween Kills, and I was like, oh, that thing was like god awful. I was like, the only reason I watched it is because I got my brother sitting there and he'd like, oh, I want to watch that. That's all right, put it on. So I'm looking over and I'm like, oh God, this thing is awful.
20, Halloween Kills. Yeah, I heard the same thing. It wasn't that great. 2018 was actually better than Halloween Kills, but nothing beats the 78 version. And I know Jasmine will get my back on that opinion.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, yeah, it's way better. It's just like I said, I don't get why they keep remaking these movies. Why go near them? So you could maybe make a few different effects. That's really all it is, or just cast it with people that you like and just do it. There's so many other things you could be doing than that.
Well, they do the shit with sci-fi too, because because nothing beats original Star Wars trilogy. I mean, God, those of us that have seen it, and the way that George Lucas did it, and even though they get a little bit of hate, the prequels, but then you get into like the Disney trilogy. God, it was so garbage. Yeah.
It's like they should have just stopped. Like you have Empire Strikes Back, just stop around there. We don't have to do all this.
Nice.
It's probably also a lot easier to get like big studio funding for a franchise that has a big name and a big following behind it. Like I doubt you're going to get big studio funding for say like Sleepaway Camp, which I love that movie. Got a poster right there. I've got a picture up on the wall where I met Felissa Rose. I love that movie. But there, if somebody came up and was, hey, we want to do Sleepaway Camp 4, there's no way in hell a main studio is going to put their money into that. But you do have a lot of indie.
Their most ridiculous now. Yeah, their most ridiculous argument for doing all these remakes is always, well, we got to bring it to a new generation with new actors and new effects. No, you don't, because I know plenty of younger people that will go back and watch some of these older movies and enjoy them for exactly what they are. Because I don't care what you say. Like they were talking about trying to do a remake of The Breakfast Club. I cannot see anybody else playing those roles except the people that were in the original film.
The dialogue would never be as good. You can't. There aren't enough modern writers that are in Hollywood right now that have the writing chops of John Hughes.
If they oh my God, if they remade The Breakfast Club, I would riot.
Oh, they were talking about it, and they wanted to do, of course, the buzzword, the diversity. For it.
And it'd be like if they redid Roadhouse. You just can't redo fucking Roadhouse.
They were talking about redoing Princess Bride until the fandom got a hold of that. They were like, there's very few perfect movies in existence. It would be a shame to ruin this one.
And this is why we gatekeep our shit, boys and girls.
Yup.
Exactly.
But I think it goes back to what Jasmine was saying. There is no creativity. And I think that goes back to what we were saying about the schools. They're not being taught. There is no imagination. They don't read books and imagine the pictures in their head like we're able. Like, I've got 2 kids.
For sure.
You can't get them to read a book. I mean, they're far too busy on Snapchat, on YouTube, on everything to actually take the time to read. I'm on YouTube a lot. I mean, because of what we do. But I also go to sleep reading a book every night. And I go through a book a week minimum. So,
yeah, I try to set at least an hour every night that I'm sitting there just reading a book.
That's how I shut down at night. I mean, usually a little bit amped up from doing streams or doing whatever, and go to bed, read a book, finally get to sleep an hour later.
Yeah, you sleep better, you get better rest because you've been working your mind a bit. You're having to use your imagination.
Yeah. But imagination is a thing we're losing in our society, I think. I think that's probably why the Koreans are doing so well with their shows. I mean, education here and education there are 2 different things, I believe.
Well, I don't know. I can't stand K-pop.
Hey, don't bash K-pop, man. You leave that alone.
Bro, listen, I'm a fucking metal guy, all right? Give me some Pantera, give me some Slayer. I'm at home, that's my shit.
I'll do everything from classic rock up through metal, but music for me ended in about 2002, 2003. After that, I just have not cared. I just listen from 2003 backwards and enjoy that much more than I enjoy what's coming out now.
What's your favorite music genre? Jasmine?
Anything to do with black metal or death metal or just what we used to listen to that was good music that was, banned by the PMRC back in the day.
Do you where do you come out on Dimmu Borgir? Because they're not real black metal, probably.
Yeah, they are. I mean, them, Mayhem, all of those bands.
All right, how about Venom?
I know I knew that I had a feeling that's where you guys were going with this. It's always that argument, which came like what was really black metal? Was it Venom for having the album name, or was it just the bands that came out of Scandinavia during that era? But did they get the idea from those bands? That's the question.
Whoever came first, we can probably
Yeah, we
agree
have to see
Verza was
which
probably best.
the first black metal band. You would have maybe say like Mayhem, Burzum. Well, no, not Burzum. Like Mayhem.
Pope Metallic is Pope Metallic.
Venom was first. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess so. Sure. Let's just say Venom for the sake of this conversation.
Yeah, I remember what got me into metal was I funny enough, like hearing Ozzy, and then I had Motley Crue Shout at the Devil, got me into it, and then after a while I realized Motley Crue were a bunch of like idiots, but it was that. And I'm not gonna lie. God, I'm gonna lose my metal credit each and every time I say I listened to some hair metal back in the day. But who didn't? It was in our face. But
I swear, if you say Poison, I'm going to reach right through this screen and smack you.
I could be like what Stewart from Beavis and Butthead. It could have the Winger shirt or some shit. I'm not that bad, dude. But yeah, that really hit me. And then I had a neighbor that lived next door that turned me on to Master of Puppets by Metallica. He gave me 3 tapes: Master of Puppets by Metallica, Anthrax Among the Living, and Slayer Rain and Blood. And I wore those 3 tapes out, and I was just like, okay, this is the kind of metal that I like. So that was
Good
my
entries
thing.
for that.
And then the thing that kind of gatewayed me to black metal was King Diamond.
Yeah, well, of course.
Because and King Diamond, by the way, if you ever get the opportunity to see a King Diamond concert, he puts on an awesome fucking show from beginning to end. And he also does concept records, which is a lost art.
Yeah, I mean, there should have been comic books, all of his albums, And it's interesting because it was a great concept. It's a grown man running around on stage singing with makeup, a top hat, and skull like bones.
And fucking singing soprano.
Yeah. Baphomet, yeah.
Yeah, and Queensryche did concept albums too. Before they kind of went soft.
I think it was more effective with King Diamond because everything really had a theme. Plus, he had the stage show. I mean, he's very theatrical.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so awesome. So awesome.
You don't see that a lot with a lot of these newer bands. I think there are rare exceptions to that is 2 that I seen at an Ozfest was Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie. Both of them put on incredible stage performances.
Yeah, I saw Alice Cooper. He puts on a great show.
Alice Cooper,
great for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Alice is one of the grandfathers of putting on a theatrical type, putting on a spectacle.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not surprised.
And it's one heck of a show. I mean, that dude's old, and it was like a 4-hour show, only stopping to do set changes and costume changes occasionally, and it was really affordable. I saw him at a fairly sizable stadium not too far from me, and it wasn't bad. I actually paid to get like 3rd row seats, and it was like it was $70 a ticket for 3rd row seats. He knows his audience.
Jasmine, do you still like every so often keep an eye on the wrestling biz or no?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's not like obviously it's not what it was years ago, but I kind of just don't really watch it as much anymore because so many people, so many this. It's too much. It's not like old school wrestling was great, and then they pull these yayos out of wherever, whatever casting central or of these little competitions, and just put them on there when there are other great people out there, maybe work in the indies that don't ever get that chance. Yeah, but I don't watch it as much as I used to.
I think a lot, I think that sports entertainment aspect, that type of product that WWE puts out there, and then you see, like like the indies or something like Impact, something like AEW to a certain degree, that care about actual pro wrestling. You can see the differences in the product, because a lot of the time the sports entertainment stuff is just super over the top cheesy, and
Yeah.
it loses the fan, because you like the wrestling, kind of that formula that we enjoyed of a build and knowing how to write a storyline without like the cheesy bullshit, just building drama between two opponents.
Yeah, and also like the women's division is way too big now too. That's the other issue.
Oh God, I know. Jeez, oh man, WWE has like women coming out of their ears. It's just like all over the place,
and they rarely know what to do with them.
Yeah,
just too much.
AEW, I think, has done a good job with them, but I rarely watch wrestling anymore, just because. I mean, outside of AEW, if I turn on WWE, it's like every time you click to it, somebody's just talking. Then you flip away, come back 10 minutes later, either that same person is talking or the person they were talking to is now talking. It's like, when did wrestling stop wrestling?
But they're not even good promos though either.
Yeah.
No, they can't cut a promo to save their lives.
Because my goodness, I'm sure like back when you were doing stuff, probably with ECW and different like different indie feds that you probably went into, Jasmine. All your stuff was just off the cuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. And it wasn't scripted shit. You were just bam.
Thank you. That's true. I mean, that was the fun part of working with Paul Heyman, and it's just I think once they have all that money and the budget into things, that's great, but it can go one of two ways, and it's just gone the other way too far, unfortunately, with some places.
But that's what holds a bond with the audience, when it's genuine.
Yeah.
When it's just scripted and you're just sitting there like, reading off a card, or just memorize something off a card. People can tell that it ain't coming off genuine.
Yeah, it's not organic, really. So it's just not the same. But yeah, we're looking forward to working for XPW April 9th. So yeah, that's going to be fun. And then return to California, and that'll be a good show.
Nice.
Cool.
But I have to pop off of here. I'm so sorry. And I've had a great time chatting with you guys. It's always nice to meet like-minded people. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do our little outro and bounce as well. So we'll start with you, Jasmine. Let people know what you got coming up.
Okay, yeah. So you could check me out on Twitter, of course, under Jasmin St. Clair. No E at the end of Jasmine, E at the end of Claire. Then I have my podcast that drops every Wednesday, Crazy Train with Jasmin St. Clair. So it's crazy with a K. And then you could just find me on Facebook, the same name, on Instagram at The Real Jasmin St. Clair. And soon I have a political podcast coming up with George Erbdottle. I've been a guest on his show as well. So that's about it. And I have, I guess, films coming out. You could just find usually through my Twitter feed when I just start announcing things. It's like a whole set of stuff, but it's fun.
That is awesome, man.
Thank you. Nice meeting everyone, though.
That's the reason why I want to have people on that think like we do, because we're gonna tell people the truth, and we're gonna continue to wake people up, and that's the only way, because getting at them through this medium, is how we're really gonna reach people. You know, you go try to go through, you know, corporate media, anything else, that's not going to cut it. And they're never going to let you say what you're really thinking. So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, at least here we still have freedom of speech for now. So,
Yeah, for
you
now.
know, for now, fingers crossed. All right, Steven, Free Speech Gaming, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, everybody, you can find me here on YouTube over at Odyssey and on Rumble at Freeze Peach Gaming right there. I do a Monday night stream starting at 7 o'clock. I usually stream for about an hour and a half, whatever game I feel like playing that day. This week was Breath of the Wild, so you can check that replay out if you want. I've also been lately doing on Monday nights after that, usually about 8:30, doing the Yelling at Park Cars warm-up over on Shellback TJC's channel, so please check him out. He's getting some more views over there, and he could use some more support. Haven't been putting out as many videos lately, but I'm going to try working on that soon. And you can catch me here, of course, every Tuesday night for, I mean, one of the best shows out there that, you know, everybody can go into the chat, click that share button, let everybody know on all of your social medias so we can let everyone else know just this awesome show we got going on here, getting some great guests. It was really nice to meet you, Jasmine, and I had a great time again tonight. Wonderful Tuesday again. Hope everybody out there has a wonderful day.
Over to Mr. Brahma Bull.
Hey everybody, Brahma Bull. You can catch me actually just in a little bit over on Toxic Tuesday with 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser, going over Caddyshack tonight. It's going to be it's going to be a fun one, I think. You can catch me here every Tuesday, and on my channel, we are having our very first live stream tomorrow. I'm going to have Salty Texas C, the Nerdporeal live form, and Flaccid Phoenix, and we are going to go over not politics, actually. We're going to do some entertainment, talking about Hollywood destroying the Dark Tower, the Wheel of Time, and, of course, the upcoming Lord of the Rings. So check that out if you get a chance. That'll be 6 p.m. Central. So,
all right.
Cheers to everybody.
Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I've transitioned back into a guinea pig, and how are you all doing? Guard your toes, because I'll be coming for them. But you can catch me over at Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, where we talk about old toys, retro toys being done right, and, of course, old movies, going old school retro discussions every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and on Thursday at 7:45 p.m. Eastern, United Underground presents Collectible Past, where Vinny Art and I get together and we talk about a lot of the retro toys that are being done correctly, and, of course, the stuff that they were based on. Thank you, everybody that has come by. You guys are amazing in the chat. Thank you to everybody that has actually helped move Drew's funding for his mother's final expenses as well. We've already passed the $1,500 mark. Thank you so much for getting that done already and for continuing to spread the word. We truly do appreciate it. Remember, guys, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't say, what you should or should not watch, because your silence gives consent.
All right, guys. Next week, you can catch us right back here for another episode of the United Resistance. We'll have a good guest next week. I still have to touch base and confirm with her, but she goes by the handle Frantic Missy. She should be here with us. She is a comedian by trade, and also one of the people that hops around the podcast realm. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So until next week, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Love you guys, and thank you again so much for helping me honor my mother's memory. Just keep getting that out in the ether, and let's hit the goal on that campaign, because that would be completely awesome. So love you guys. I will see you again soon. Looking forward to it. Take care.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, hi, Coast Casino.
Hey, welcome to Sporking News Podcast. My name is Scott.
I'm E. Temple Kuyan of the Place to Be Reviews. I am the Patriot, Drew Taylor, aka Supreme Heretic.
The Red Gaze on YouTube, at the Red Gaze on Twitter.
What up, what up, what up?
Hello, everybody. It's me, Vinny.
The voice of Immortal Coil.
Oh, hey, I am the Ghost Bear.
What's going on, Tommy? You didn't get anybody to like this?
Yeah, I'm Wes Moody of the Wes Moody Webcast.
Tone Death rocking.
I mean, we have a lot of cool things over there. I do some magic tricks.
Hi, guys. Try to stay here.
My name is Monkey Knight.